Doctor, welcome back.
Nice to be here.
Good to have you. So we were talking about deconstructing your illusion.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you, soul is the hard drive. And everything else we learn, the culture, the religion, the environment, the government that we live in, is the software operating package. So the initial who am I is the software package.
Right.
Right? But as we grow up and our soul starts stirring, oh, we need to find out who we are. But we have to get through the matrix or all the mess that's on top of the soul to really get to our truth. And
So what you're talking about is just like we talk about with the pyramid, stepping out of the social matrix into the spiritual matrix, the
Correct.
authentic self, because we are spirits having a human experience.
Correct.
We're not humans trying to have a spiritual experience, right?
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
Thank you very much. That's what I'm here for.
Well, I'm thrilled. Yeah, and I'm doing it, from a psychological
Right, sure.
perspective and a spiritual perspective, how to help my clients. And Soul Transformation, Engaging the Invisible Actor Within, is a self-help book for people to actually, there's techniques in there how to deconstruct their lives so that they can actually do some of the work themselves. Or some people aren't interested in going to a therapist, and so they need a book or something to use as a guide. And that's why I wrote the book, so that anybody could have a sense of it and be inspired to make changes in their life. Great if they have a mentor, a spiritual teacher, a psychologist, a minister, whatever they need. It would be also very advantageous, but the book itself can help people to start taking a look at their life from a different perspective.
So what do we do after we deconstruct the illusion?
Well, after you deconstruct the illusion, you go to continual soul engagement, and I think that's where we all want to go. Is we all want to live our authentic soul-centered life. But there's a real problem in the Western culture. Our minds are not set to live a spiritual life. We are taught to we have to
domesticated.
Well, yeah, we're taught to acquire things. Right?
Right.
We're taught that you have to have a house, you have to have a car, you have to, function a certain way, you have to dress a certain way. That's the mold of the society that you and I live in. Now, living a spiritual life and being an individual, which you and I have both become, we do whatever we want the way we want, because
Sure.
we have moved, we've put the time in and moved through, our material. But how do we? Our goal, or my goal, your goal also, is to get people through the material to the other side of living an authentic soul-centered life. And you and I both know, if people are living their authentic soul-centered life, they will not be depressed. They will not need medication. They won't need addiction issues. They won't have any, because they will be happy living the life that they want.
Yes, I agree. Acceptance is the key to all our problems today. And it's so true. But you have to be able to deconstruct the illusion, as you put it, to get to that point.
Yeah.
To accept who you are, what your surroundings are, get out of your ego, edging good out, get out of your ego and get into the acceptance, right?
Absolutely.
But you have to commit to doing something like this, don't you?
Yeah, and I developed a soul transformation blueprint that actually helps people to actually put it down. What are the roles that you play? And how good are you at the roles? There's a realistic situation and the aspirational situation. Because
What's the difference between the realistic situation and the aspirational situation?
that we're human.
Uh-huh.
We all want these great, amazing goals, but we are all at different phases in each of them. It's hard to get 100% out of 100% of things all working in the same alignment.
Right.
So I actually put together, Bradley, a soul transformation blueprint that will have people, they can organize what's working in their life and what's not. A really easy, simple process to help them to turn the dial, to help them go in the direction that they want.
So soul transformation may ultimately be the most important aspect of somebody's life, right?
I think it is the only aspect of somebody's life. If they want, I mean, some people may not choose to live a soul-centered life. That is their choice.
But
But
it's
I
their choice. But
really,
if they're stuck in the social matrix, that it seems like a fantasy
well,
to
it's an
live in.
illusion.
Yeah, yeah.
They're living an illusion.
No, I understand, but if they're stuck in that illusion, that social matrix, being domesticated by society, then they're then looking at soul, at transforming soul, living in your soul is a fantasy.
Correct.
For a lot of people, right?
Right.
And it takes commitment and action to get there.
Absolutely. No action, no results.
Right. No change, no gain.
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting.
Absolutely.
You want something different, you got to do something different. Right?
What's the definition of insanity? We've all heard this.
Yep, doing the same thing over and over again, anticipating different results. It'll be different this time. I just know it will.
Illusion. Major illusions. And you and I hear this all the time from people, Bradley. And people have to get it. You've got to make different changes. I have a process to help people, find out what their soul purpose is. I mean, for everyone, it's not. It can be very honest and original. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, it's to whatever. It is for each person.
Yeah.
It is a very different journey, what their soul journey is.
Now, you write about this. You write about the process of change and soul. And I know that when I'm participating in my passion in life, my purpose, I've never been so high. I've never been so free. I've never been so fulfilled or had so much love in my life. When I'm doing that,
right.
When I'm into self-centered me, it can be a whole different story, right?
Of course, for everybody.
Right. Now, do you describe it much the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I believe everyone has to have a passion, Bradley. And if they don't have a passion, they need to find one, or they need to work to find one. And sometimes it doesn't come immediately. If someone's stuck in the social matrix, as what you call it, for a long period of time, it's really hard to them to think out of the box. I need people to think out of the box, because out of the box is going to get us out of the box of what's happening in our country right now. We've all got to think out of the box, the way we work, the way we think, the way we look at our country and our relationship to even the land that we live on.
So we're talking about change and shame and how they go together.
Yeah, exactly. Underneath any sort of transformation, there is a layer of shame. And the layer of shame is, well, I should have known about this should have happened, I'm not good enough. If that is not detoxified emotionally in some manner, the change will be harder to make. When you actually express the shames in your life, it opens up it energetically for change to move forward at a much quicker pace.
Now, how do you do that? Just by acknowledging it? By professing it?
By professing it, by talking about it, by owning our aspects of shame. Every single human being on this planet is ashamed of something in their life. The more that we let go of that, the more it allows more positive energy to come in. Positive energy comes in, but it has to replace some of the negative energy that's there. And we have to let go of that negative energy in order for the positive to come through. It's got to be a free movement. So address your shame to the appropriate venues, forgiveness, whatever it is that you have to do, shame, forgiveness, any of it, so that you can actually take hold of your life and bring in more positive energy, because the goal of life is to be living life more on the positive and healthy sides than on the negative and shadow sides.
So do I make a list of these voices in my head, of these negative affirmations, of this self-talk? Do I make a list of these things, read them to somebody? How do I expose them?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I love your idea about making a list. I think first of all, what people should do is count how many negative thoughts they have in a day.
Well, that's not enough paper.
Well, thank you, because that happens to most people. Now, we're not going to change all of that, but we have to start the process by changing pieces of it. What I do to shift that energy is use music. I use Om. I love Om, playing that in my car
Sure.
and transforming the energy. I love, meditating. We have to shift our headspace out of that negative energy, doing voice work, doing body work. We have
Now,
to find a way
should
to get through.
yeah, should we replace? Would you suggest replacing the negative self-talk with positive affirmations?
Yes, always. But if we don't address shame that comes from not thinking we're good enough, or I should have known this, I should have done better, or whatever, that piece, the shame part, has to be addressed before you can do that. And it
But
won't
if
stick.
we make a list of these things,
Yes,
right?
and we detoxify them.
Because the moment we share about any subject, including shame-based thoughts,
Right.
At a group level or with
Right.
somebody else, 50% of the negativity of that issue is gone just like that.
Right.
And through repetitive sharing about that given subject or topic, it decreases it and deflates it even more.
Correct.
But then so do we replace, you're suggesting we replace that with affirmations and positive action immediately?
Absolutely. After you do work through the shame, absolutely. You have to recreate how you got to make change. So you have to make a change in how you're going to do things. So you have to talk about what the change is. So, let's just come up with something. Let me think.
I want to make it to the gym now.
Okay.
Okay, I want to drop the 500 pounds I'm hanging on to.
All right. So you acknowledge, that it's, talk about how shameful it is to be 500 pounds and how
Do we not talk about the issues behind the weight? Yeah?
Well, yeah, of course, but that's an extreme example.
Right.
I'm talking about less extreme. Let's say someone needs to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
Okay, that's better than 500 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a whole other psychological thing.
Right.
So the shame is they're not who they want to be. They're not living the life that they want to be.
Right,
They're supposed to be this.
It's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if we let go of some of that stuff and make different choices in our lives, using positive affirmations, using the soul transformation blueprint, so that we can dial in the track or the vibration that we want to live in. Right now, people, what they're not doing is they're all over the map and they can't dial in the vibration that they want. And they don't know how to do it because it seems so overwhelming. Soul Transformation Blueprint will help them to dial in exactly the things they need to work on so that they can go towards what their soul purpose and soul destiny is.
I say fear and change have one thing in common. They're both the unknown.
Correct.
And it's easier to keep doing what you're doing because you know what you're going to get.
Correct.
Even if it's negative, at least you know what it is, rather than stepping off the curb and becoming very vulnerable and
Right.
risking your ego.
Right.
According to you, why are people afraid of change?
They're caught in, they're afraid to be in, they're afraid of life. I think bottom line, they're afraid of life. They're caught in such a grid of their contextual factors, which is my word for your word of social matrix. They're caught in that that they limit their ability to see the world. And it's comfortable for them to know, but they are actually afraid of life. And my God, I don't want to be living life and be afraid of what might happen. Because you know what? This is life. Anything can change in your life or my life in a second.
Right.
We don't know. We have to be able to be flexible. When something really bad happens, those people will not survive. You and I will survive because we'll have the flexibility of change. Change is great. I think people need to have new affirmations. Change is enlightening. Change is magnificent. Change is wonderful. I love change. I think everyone should have that written on their mirror to really move it into their psychic space, because change is life. And if you're afraid of life. And why live life when you're afraid of life? I mean, that's not life.
You're so fantastic. I love this conversation. I hope that you'll come back really, really soon. Again, her name is Dr. Selina Selina, what is your last name, Selina, so I don't mess this up? It's Selina Matthews, author of Soul Transformation. I did mess that up once, didn't I?
Yeah.
Dr. Selina Matthews. Check her out at www.selina, S-E-L-I-N-A, Matthews.com, SelinaMatthews.com. You are definitely going to get back here, okay?
Great.
I'll be back next month.